talked about before, like when I Google that business name, I'll see, like, do they have the Google business page and do they have reviews on it? And if so, are they good or bad? Do they just have one review? Do they have no reviews? Like, those are warning flags.
You know what's fun?
For me.
Talk to prospects that have like 1-star reviews across the board. Those people are really friggin' fun to talk to.
I bet. I've talked to a couple of them. They're like, yeah, I try to. If you're in that situation, I feel for you. And usually you're spiteful, like you're upset, like you're mad at the one guy who.
You're mad at your ex?
You're mad at your ex. Could be situations like that. Who knows? Who knows? But like, it's a bad place to be, because like if you have a potential prospect looking at your business, they Google your business name, and that's the first thing staring in their face.
And we're not even talking about being. Oh, you use landscapers. We're not even talking yet about being found for like landscaping service.
Nope.
Fall cleanup.
Nope.
In whatever town. Like, we didn't even get to that point yet.
We're not even there yet. Like, this is somebody that has, before they even got there, like, they're just looking up your business name and they're staring that in their face. And what kind of decision would you make in that situation?
They're probably actually refreshing the homepage of Google, and they're probably actually searching
hitting the back
landscaper,
button.
Fall cleanup, service, blah, 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 town.
Exactly. Right.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's a huge thing. So and I focus on paid advertising, paid lead generation. You know, like we do Facebook ad campaigns, Google ad campaigns, and I tell people, if you don't have this stuff taken care of, you shouldn't be doing paid ads, because all you're going to do is accelerate how fast people know how bad you are. If you have a terrible digital curb appeal, like a terrible website.
And I think let's divide that into two, because you know you have two buckets here. You have the rare bucket, which is the business that has horrible online reviews.
Right.
And if they start doing ads, then yes, it's going to show people the negative social proof, the negative laugh track we talked about in the last episode. But if also let's just take the person who has, say, kind of a neutral review existence, or they have good positive reviews, a few here and there, but their overall rating is good, but they have horrible web properties. Maybe their Google listing isn't claimed, their website was built, in 2011 or 10 or something like that, just doesn't look good, doesn't have an accurate representation. I mean, we could certainly probably divide that into two buckets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, that's kind of stuff I'll look at, and then we talk to the client and, show them the options. So, like, here's how we could reach potential customers on Google, on Facebook, with different strategies. And then we talk about budget, because obviously all pie in the sky, there's the ideal and then there's the real. Like, hey, that's great that we could get.
There's the beer budget.
Exactly. And then there's the whiskey, nice high-end drink budget.
Well, I see how you just position that. Very
exactly.
good.
One end of the table to the other. And, like I was talking to a landscaper today, and we were showing, like, hey, some of my landscapers get, like, literally 70 leads a month from Google AdWords alone. But they're spending $1,500 in ad spend, paying us management fee and stuff like that.
Now pause right there. When you think about lead flow, because this begs another problem that I deal with sometimes, that I hear. And I hear my website is not working, I'm not getting any leads. Sometimes, worst case scenario, you see where, especially in like the vertical markets, say the chiropractor, people, the companies like ours that only serve, like we serve.
Sure.
Years ago, I took the advice of people who said only pick a niche and grow rich, and I just totally didn't even listen to that. Said nope, I can serve multiple industries, multiple vertical markets, and I have, and you have for the last several years. So. But there are some companies out there that are like, hey, we only do websites and SEO for plumbers. We only do websites and online marketing for martial arts schools. We only do it for landscapers.
Yeah.
Those companies, I'm not going to name anybody by name, and some of them are probably really good.
Sure.
But they are really good at making the client, the business owner, think that just because they get that website that's built for the landscaper, built for the martial arts school, that's $300 a month, that client is going to get the same amount of leads. And sometimes what I end up having to bring the person down to reality and saying, okay, just because you change your website does not mean you're going to get the same amount of leads as Kyle has with the same business with the same website. do you understand what actually impacts how many leads someone gets? And sometimes it's on the phone a lot. It's met with either like silence on the other end, or if it's in person, like a blank stare. Because the reality is no one can tell you whether your website's working or not working. I mean, sometimes it's glaringly obvious. It looks horrible, so it's not working.
Right.
But do you have Google Analytics installed on your website?
Right, exactly.
What? Then how could someone tell you that you're going to get X amount of leads if you just change your website?
Right.
What do you mean? I mean, because if you don't know how many unique visitors you're getting,
Right.
how can you actually anticipate how many leads you're going to get?
Yeah.
Speak to that.
So it's kind of like I've used the analogy where you look at a car. Like you can look at a car and it may look really nice, has a nice paint job, good rims on it, but you have no idea.
20-inch dubs.
20-inch dubs, maybe hydraulics, who knows, if you're in South Philly or something. But if you look under the hood, like it could have nothing there, And
a lawnmower engine.
It could have a lawnmower, like a gerbil spitting. Exactly. Shout out to Lenny. But so I look at websites all the time. I'm sure you do too. Where
I don't look at websites though.
Sometimes they may look good, but like if I Google your business name and your business website is the 10th result down the page, which I literally saw today.
Yeah.
Like there's a problem with what's under the hood of your
Most
website.
likely it's obviously not built to even have the business name in it. It hasn't been submitted through Webmaster Tools to be indexed in Google.
Yeah.
Possibly they forgot to tie it to their Yelp listing or their Google listing or something like that.
Yeah.
It really should come up first.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about like Facebook, Yelp.
Sure.
I mean, some of those. I mean, those are large. Those are
Right.
massive websites with like major organic search appeal.
But it should
to
be
be like
towards the
10.
top. Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like so that's like an under the hood problem. Like your car may look okay because you built it on Wix, your website on Wix, but like there's issues under the hood.
You know what the worst part about this is?
What?
The worst part about you're saying under the hood is like we haven't even started talking about actually growing the business.
No,
side.
not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. So going back to the thing, like we do this whole needs analysis, and then I actually have a conversation with the client, like, hey, what's your budget? Because it doesn't matter if we can get you 70 leads a month, from Google and Facebook, but it's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Just like we talked about, like it's not just the changing a website that's going to all of a sudden give you a flood of leads.
Yeah.
That person literally has to spend money to drive traffic to that landing page of that website.
Just because you build it doesn't mean people are going to come. No.
There has to be some sort of intervention.
Right.
No, there's not. I'm sorry. There's no intervention. It's just you have to actually speak with somebody.
Sure. Yeah.
Who's willing to give you the ugly truth.
It's true. Like, and like and Google will tell me, like, and so, we did this for the landscaper and the home builder today that I talked to. We actually research how many people a month in the geographic area that they want to serve are searching for what, the jobs that they want to get, right? Well, that's on the Google side. And we can put an ad in front of those people to get some of those people to click over to the landing page or to the website and call the person to get a lead, right? And then on Facebook, like, we can see how many homeowners
What's the pool of,
we can find the pool of potential people that we can get a video or an ad in front of to interrupt and get them to come over to our client's website. So we can figure that out and infer and kind of make a hypothesis for an educated guess on here's how many leads you could probably get a month based on other clients you worked with, based on what Google and Facebook are saying is the potential.
We are pretty. I know. I'm going to speak for myself. You could agree or disagree.
Okay.
I'm a pretty jaded person.
No.
So
No.
There's nothing that you're going to tell me that I am not going to question, not believe, or think is a bunch of bullshit.
Sure.
And
You grew up in South Philly.
what I think happens sometimes is business owners fall either just they get into because they're the same way.
Sure.
They're also very smart. They're savvy. If they weren't, they wouldn't be in business for themselves. But once in a while, and we can't really do this every episode, but it just keeps happening over and over again. Because before we recorded our last episode, this happened. Before we recorded this episode, literally I talked to somebody who was like, oh, I ended up going with blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you realize that there's only 4 competitors in your geographic market? And you're saying you just signed up for an SEO program. Does anybody at home listening, right, actually understand the problem in it?
Right.
The problem
Right.
is that you don't need SEO because your business is going to be found no matter what.
Right. Right.
So it just happens.
It's a good point. Like I had a business coach, this guy Keith Cunningham, and if you ever heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he was the Rich Dad guy. So I was in a seminar with him, like smart guy, and he talked about this whole thing about the problem that is. Okay, not the problem that you think you have, but the problem that is.
Pay attention.
And so many business owners and people in general, like we all do this, right? We think we have a problem. We have a web marketing problem, but like maybe you have a website conversion problem. And so, and it's hard because you have the lenses that you have and you're looking at the problem one way and it may not be the problem that really is the problem, right? You think you have a lead generation problem. Maybe you have a closing problem. Maybe you have like we've done. So here's a crazy tangent. I think we're probably close to wrapping up. So we did lead generation for a lawyer's office one time. Okay, they thought they had a lead generation problem. So they hire us. We do Google AdWords campaign. Right. We drive them to a landing page and we record the phone calls. Okay. And we sit down with the owner after running a month and we're like, here's the leads, here's the recordings of the phone calls. You need to listen to these because your front desk staff is killing your conversions.
There's just like, are they like making it rain?
Like literally
make it rain, just throwing the
money up. and we showed them like, hey, you're paying about, it was a couple $100 per lead
make it rain.
To get one of those leads. And these are like personal injury leads, like $65 a click kind of territory. And we found out that his front desk staff was destroying this. He had to fire her. Like that was the problem that was. It wasn't, they didn't have a lead generation problem. Like we ended up keeping working with him and generating a lot of leads. But as soon as he changed
he had a battle axe Bertha problem.
Like
he was ready with the axe.
Sales prevention department. Like, getting the phone to ring, phone's ringing, but where he was sitting as a business owner, he's like, our business isn't growing, we're not getting good leads. Like, he was getting good leads, but his team was killing it.
No, like we're, like Kyle and
Thanks for the money, buddy.
Speak for both of us, like we're pretty sexy guys, right? And the thing is that, like, none of this is sexy. Like,
No,
when you're actually consulting or selling something or doing your best to, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
You just, go down Madison Avenue and all the client, we're going to make this big client presentation. They're trying to wow that client, try to gain that client. I get it. Try to get the account, make some money, close the deal. Everybody's happy. And again, hopefully the client wins as well. Yeah. But when you're in a situation where you have to bring up reality, it's just not sexy.
It is tough, yeah. And I made a decision a long time ago. I want to sleep at night. So I show them what I see. Here's the things that I can help with, because I don't do all those things. Like, I'll send people to Mike, they need a website. That's not me. But like the lead generation problem, I can solve that. Like, that's the tools that I have. And a lot of times, like, I tell them, like, hey, you're not ready for this with the budget you have, the expectations you have. Like, it's not going to work, for you.
And then sadly, they may go and find somebody who will tell them it will work, and then they'll find out it doesn't work anyway because they didn't listen to reality.